All right, I want to quickly demo using an old computer game called SimCity2000. The way that you're going to access it is using today's page on Google Classroom. If you click on this link, you can play the game through your browser. So I'm going to hit the power button and let it load through all this. So it'll take a minute. Okay, and here it is. So once you click in here, you'll be in control of this black arrow. And if you just keep clicking, you'll get to this screen. And I'm going to click Start New City. And it'll generate a map for you, and then you can name your city. So I'll just name mine. And start on easy and in the year 2000. And so when you click Done, your city will start. So if I click in this box here, that'll click off of that newspaper. And then I'm going to maximize the window by clicking here. And what I want to do is choose a place to start my city. I want to start it close to the river, and I don't want to take out too much of the forest area. Just looking around, if you click around, you can kind of look around your map. And I think right here would be a good place to start. And I'm just choosing a nice flat place by the river, but you can choose whatever you want for yours. I'm going to zoom in using this magnifying glass, and I can click it twice to zoom in all of the way. Okay. One setting that I'm going to change is I'm going to come up here and go to No Disasters. So if you click and hold, and then move your mouse down and let go on No Disasters, now I won't have like a fire or a tornado come and destroy my city. The other thing you can do is you can change the speed of time. So right now it's on llama, that's kind of medium. If I change it to cheetah, you'll see the months here go really fast. And at the end of every year, this budget will come up. And so right now, I didn't spend any money, I didn't lose any money, and I have $20,000. So I'm going to click Done. And I'll set it to turtle, which is the really slow speed, so that we can kind of get moving. So just to start, you have all of these options for your city. And what we're going to do is we're going to start by doing zoning. So the house right here, this is residential. So you see right here it says dense residential, and every square that I put in is $10. The one next to it right here is commercial. Here it says dense commercial. And then the last one here is industrial. So if I make, let's say, a square right here, then that's zoned as residential, so people could build houses there. Now I'm going to leave an empty space and put a small square of commercial. And then I'm going to go to industrial and do the same thing. I'm going to put a small square of industrial. Now, in order to get people to build, you have to surround these with roads because they have to be able to get there. So I'm going to build some roads around each of these. And all I'm doing is clicking and dragging. And I'll build roads in between. That's why I left a little gap. Okay. Now, what you can see here is this usually gives you a suggestion of what you're going to need. So it says power plant needed. So people need electricity before they're going to build. And in order to install a power plant, I'm going to go to this electricity symbol and I'm going to click and hold it. And what you'll see is right now it's on power lines. I want to scroll down. I'm still holding. Scroll down to power plant. And now I have all of these choices. So I can use coal power, hydroelectric, oil, gas, nuclear, wind, or solar. Now what you can see here is this is how much power you get from each. So this would be 200 megawatts versus like a wind power, you only get 4. So you can power a lot more with a coal plant than a wind plant, but if you click info, it tells you the advantages and disadvantages. So if you're here, like power plants generate large amounts of black smoke, so pollution. So you get a lot of energy, but you create pollution. You can do solar power, but again, you would need to install 4 of these to get the same output as a coal power plant. So here you can, and then hydroelectric are clean. You don't get a ton of energy, and you have to build them on a waterfall. So we can start with clean energy, but you have to realize that this is going to be less reliable than something that produces more power and causes more pollution. But we can start with that. And I'm going to put it a little bit away from my city. Okay. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to click and hold and select power lines. And I'm just going to click here and drag. And I'm going to put power lines into my zoning areas. So I'm just clicking and dragging. For me, I'm using a mouse. If you right click, you can move around the map. And then I'm going to change my speed to llama. And you should start to see building. Now, one last thing you have to be aware of. If you click the sink, that is your water supply. And what you can notice is that no one has any water. So the way that you can do that is click and hold and install a water pump. So in between all of the roads, I'm going to put, or in every zone, I'm going to put a water pump. And then when I click and hold and I go to pipes, you can see everyone has water now. So I'm going to let this run for a minute, and you should see people starting to build. Now, one thing you should keep an eye on is this. So this tells you the demand for residential, see the R, commercial, and industrial zoning. So right now, people want places to live, and they want places to work. And so that would say I should add more residential area. So you can use this centering tool to move around the map, and I can add more residential area, for example. And then I'm going to give them some road, and they need some electricity. So I'm going to take some power lines and move them over here. When you see the flashing lightning bolt, that means that they're lacking electricity. So you just have to connect it to your grid. But you see that people are building once they have electricity. And I'm just going to put some water in. And so if you just follow the demand here, so they want more residential, then you can keep installing what people want and keep building your city. Okay, a couple more things. If you want to see your budget, you can go to this $ here. You can get advice from all of your people. So right now your taxes are at 7%. He's telling you maybe lower your taxes and then more people will move in. You can ask your police department what they think. Okay, we have low crime. Your fire department. They're saying, okay, we need more firemen. So you can add a police station and fire station and hospital by clicking on the badge. So if I click on the badge and hold, I can add a police station, a fire station, a hospital, and a prison. Now keep in mind, these things cost money. So right now I have about $16,000, and a police station is $500. So I can install a police station. We can give it electricity. I can put in if I click and hold and then choose a fire station, we can put in a fire station. You can add a school and just make sure everyone has water. Now, here's what happens. Because solar power is unreliable, sometimes you get power outages. So if that happens, what I can do is either install another power plant or I can put in wind power. So I'm going to put in some wind turbines. That's less likely to happen if you choose a coal plant, but the offset is you get more pollution. So I'm going to install more housing. If you want to build a bridge across the river, you can. I'm going to click none for now because I don't really need to. But we can put in more residential because that's where the demand is. Make sure they have electricity. But basically, that's the gist of the game. You want to maintain your money, you build your city. You can click here to check your population. So my population right now is 920 people. And then you can keep adding things. So like the balloons, you can add, if I hold it, you can add parks and zoos and marinas and stadiums. But again, all that's expensive. Once you get further into it, you can add trains, subways, highways, buses. So it can get pretty complex. So here we are, we're having more electricity problems. So I can add a windmill again, or I can add a more reliable power plant. So that's how you get started. What I wanted you guys to do today is just kind of experiment with the game, see what you can get to. But just remember, people will build when there's roads and electricity, and then don't forget to give them water using the water pump. But yeah, so you can experiment. This button right here, you can do a seaport. If you hold, you can do an airport. So today I just want you to experiment, and the point is to kind of mess around with zoning and demand for zoning.